You can catch feelings for someone who never ever lied to you and still feel completely betrayed. Because the real heartbreak, it's not when they change, it's when you finally admit they were never who you thought they were. And this story someone sent me is the exact moment that realization hits. You can build a whole future with someone and not realize it was never real. But it's harder to protect yourself from that unless you hear what's coming next, and the way this person's illusion shattered, it'll stay with you. So the story he sent me goes, I was with this girl for almost a year. She was beautiful, a 10 out of 10. The kind of beautiful that makes you skip steps, skip questions, and skip judgment. From the beginning, I filled in every blank. I told myself she was kind, loyal, emotionally deep. I thought I knew her. It's really wild how fast our brains start building a whole life off of, like, one smile. Like, think about it. She laughs at one of your jokes, and all of a sudden, I know a whole lot of you are like, she probably reads books all the time and calls her mom every day. No, bro, she just said that's funny and laughed at your joke, Romeo. Chill out. But a lot of people don't fall in love with a person. They fall in love with the idea of a person, something that fills a hole. He saw someone attractive, a 10 out of 10, and all of a sudden, his brain started building the rest of the picture from nothing. He thought she must be kind. She probably had her life together, and he probably thought she definitely wouldn't hurt him. But none of that was ever said. It was just implied by his own imagination. And maybe you've done that too. Think about it like this. If you love the idea of someone, it's like walking into a house and seeing a clean living room, so you assume the whole place is spotless. You just decide it's perfect because the first impression felt good. That's what infatuation is. It's a hallucination that you decorate with hope. And when you're lonely or craving love or tired of waiting for someone, that hallucination becomes home. The illusion only works until it doesn't, though. And the next part of this story is where it all starts to unravel. He said she'd avoid certain questions. She changed around different people. When I talked about the future, she got quiet. My friends warned me. Even my gut warned me. But I didn't want to start over, so I held on to the version of her that I created. He didn't stay because he believed in the connection. He stayed because deep down, he was afraid of admitting the truth. That this person wasn't who he thought she was, and maybe they were never actually compatible. That's a hard thing to face, and I'm sure a lot of people have dealt with this multiple times before. It's like being a whole season into a show that you wanted to love, but the plot kinda sucks, and the characters don't make sense, and every new episode is just you coping. If the story you've made up about your partner is a fantasy, then the story you're writing about yourself will be a tragedy. You tell yourself you're being loyal, that it's maturity, but sometimes it's just fear wearing patience like a costume. Real quick, the Discord has been popping lately. Good laughs, real conversations, and people actually wanting to level up. You can find the link in that description, and if you want to support the channel, memberships have gone live too, with early drops, bonus content, and custom emojis for the comments. So he thought he was building something real, but what happened next? It tore the illusion in half, and exposed everything underneath. Continuing in the story, he said, then came the night it all fell apart. She called me, crying. I thought something had happened. But all she said was, I miss him so much, I don't know what to do. And I said, who? And she went quiet. Then whispered a name I'd never heard before, someone I didn't even know existed in her life. And in that moment, it all rewrote itself. Everything he believed, every memory, every future plan, gone in one breath. That was the moment it broke. So when reality showed up for him, it didn't knock. It crashed through the ceiling. One phrase, one slip. That's all it took. Just one moment of weakness. And all of a sudden, everything he believed about her didn't just feel wrong. It felt fake. That's how illusions break. It's not always through some massive betrayal, but through something small that confirms what you already didn't want to admit. It's like standing in front of a locked door for months, convinced it just won't open, only to finally turn the handle and realize it was never locked at all. The door wasn't the problem. He just didn't want to see the truth that was on the other side. Nothing about her changed. He just stopped lying to himself. And if you ever find yourself in that situation, where you're sitting with evidence you didn't want to believe, the kindest thing you can do is finally just walk away, as much as it hurts. You'd think that would be the end of the story, but it wasn't. Because here's what most people don't admit. He says, after that night, I started replaying everything. Every weird silence, every red flag. She didn't lie to me, she just never corrected the fantasy I created. And I didn't want to lose that version, so I held on, even when I knew it was fake. Remember when I said that the kindest thing you can do is to walk away? That would have applied in this situation too. He thought he could love her into becoming the version in his head, but love doesn't work like that. You're not your partner's therapist. You are not a redemption arc. It's like going to the gym and lifting someone else's weights every day. Your muscles are the ones that will break, not them. People don't change just because you love them hard enough or because you simp hard enough. They change when they choose to and when they want to. But when things like this do break, in Islam, we're taught that not everything that breaks is a punishment. Sometimes it's designed. He thought he lost someone special, but maybe what he really lost was the veil that kept him from seeing clearly. And maybe that's what this was. Not rejection, kinda just redirection. Back to living a grounded and real life. You don't walk away from something like this and just bounce back. Even if your mind understands it's over, your body and heart still want the old story to be true. So before you rebuild, just kinda sit with it and understand. Let the illusion die fully, so you don't bring this into your next chapter. Because the truth is, almost nobody moves on instantly. They just upgrade their coping mechanisms and call it growth. So they start journaling or something, they get disciplined, they hit the gym, but their habits don't stick. Their focus collapses, and they wonder why it always feels like they're starting over. That's what my last video was about. It explains why motivation never lasts, why your brain keeps snapping back into the loop, and what actually works when willpower isn't enough. If you've been trying to rebuild after heartbreak or failure, but nothing feels solid, don't try to fix your life until you hear this.